Hello, everybody. This is Jacob from Wager Me This, and today I'm going to be talking about strategy building. All right, so everyone looks at this differently, and you should probably look at it differently. It's whatever way works for you, first of all. But I'm going to give you guys the things I use to build strategies, the ones I actually play at the casino. Guys, I might show stuff on here that someone else gave me or whatever someone wants to see, but most of that stuff I don't use at the casino. I'm very specific to what I will use at the casino, and my strategies have to meet certain requirements. All right, so I have a two-tiered approach. In tier 1 I have 2 components, and in tier 2 I have 3 components. My tier 1 components are non-negotiable. If it doesn't meet both components, I do not play it at the casino. All right, so let's talk about tier 1, component 1. Speed of your strategy. What does that mean? Well, in simple terms, is how many hits, not rolls, hits, does it take for you to get to profit? And what I mean by get to profit is to where you have no investment from your initial bankroll, your initial starting bankroll. You have no investment on the table. So if you lose, you're profitable. So let's say you had 160 across and you've made 170. You are now $10 to the good no matter what happens. That's what I'm talking about paying with profit. So speed of your strategy matters, all right? Speed of the strategy, it can be slow, but it's got to be protected if it's slow. If not, it's got to be very fast. So let's show this. I got $300 bankroll sitting here. We're going to go 110 inside. I'm going to show you guys something. I know a lot of people like to play 110 inside. If you play 110 inside, how many hits, not rolls, hits, does it take to satisfy 110 inside? It takes 4. It takes 4 because 3 hits only pays you 105. 35 times 3 is 105. If you don't believe me, 30 times 3 is 90. 5 times 3 is 15. That's 105. You have 1010. You have 110 out there. So it takes a 4th hit to actually be profitable. So if you had 3 hits and 7 out, you lost $5. And that's if you didn't press anything else or anything. If you had 3 hits, just $35 winners, and you lose before a 4th hit, you lost $5. So speed of the strategy, speed of 110 is 4. It takes 4 hits. 4 hits to get to profit. So is that fast or slow? It's actually slow. Really slow. For a 4-bet strategy to need 4 hits, you might as well just play one number, because essentially you're at the same ratio at that point. You just need 1 to hit. So at this point, 110 inside is with 4 hits is slow. It's really slow. So now, how would you make this a strategy, right? Well, what you do is instead of needing 4 hits, you say, okay, after 2 hits, where I've made $70, I'm going to drop down to 64 across. So 2 hits to 64 across. 110 inside, 2 hits to 64 across. Now, what you have is a strategy. You see what I'm saying there? So that's just component 1. Component 1, developing a strategy. How many hits does it take to get you to profit? All right? You don't have to just sit it and wait it out. You can make moves. You can regress. You can hit and pull. There's a lot of things involved there that you can do. If you do a hit and pull, it takes 2 hits, right? So if you hit the 5, you hit the 6, you've made $70. You only have the 8 and 9 left. You'll have 55 versus 70. So there's all kinds of things involved in making strategies. In my opinion, the speed of the strategy is key to its success. That's why strategies like the 3-point molly don't work. They work in very, very specific instances, But overall, they don't work because this is too slow. It's way too slow to have to set a cone on a, set a number, hit the number, set a number, hit the number. By the time you get enough out there, you've already lost. And that's why that strategy continually costs people money, even though it's promoted as the best way to play by the house edge. It's BS, guys. That's BS. All right, so component one, speed of your strategy. Okay, so we've seen how it takes 110 and 110, okay? 110 right there. It takes 4 hits to satisfy that. All right, so let's go 160. What if you had the 4 and 10? How many hits does it take to satisfy 160? All right, so let's say you hit 5 different numbers, all right? So you hit a 4 or 10, you hit 5, 6, 8, 9. That way, so you won, let's say 50, we'll leave the VIG off. You have 160, you have 50, 35, 35, 35, 35. All right, 5 hits right there. That's what it takes to satisfy it, guys. 5 hits. Because it's 160. So if you just get 4 hits, even if you hit the 4 and 10 in those 4 hits and get the other 2, you're only $10 up, and really you're only $8 up. So for 160, even though it is a little bit better than 110 because you have 6 bets and it only takes 5 hits to get your risk, so you're gaining an advantage there, it's still not great. It's not great standalone. So what you end up doing is you end up having to do a regression, or you end up having to pull bets down or whatever to make it work. Because guys, if you just play the 5, 6, 8, 9, that's each hit is only $35 at this point, and it works with any denomination. If you had $12, if you had 200 out there, it's all the same. It's the amount of hits that it takes to satisfy your risk. Right? So when you see these strategies, when you're doing these things, and you're like, man, I always lose when I play across. He says, and you think, but it seems like I'm hitting numbers all the time. Well, you probably are. But the problem is you're not doing the next step. You're not adding to the strategy to make it profitable. If you put all those numbers out there, guys, like that, you go across the board like that, and you just wait for 2 hits and then take your bets down, you're going to win a lot. You're going to win a lot of the time. All right, so let's go. Component 1 is speed of the strategy. All right, so what goes into that? What is a fast strategy? All of your strategies should take 2 hits or less. That is the ideal risk tolerance. If your strategy only takes 2 hits to be satisfied, you're going to win way more than you're going to lose. If you go to 3 hits, you're still okay, but you're starting to get into a realm where you got to get lucky. If you go anything over 3, you have to get lucky. If you have to have 4 hits to satisfy your risk on a strategy, you're going to lose more than you're going to win. And the reasoning is, and I'm talking about light side strategy specific, the reason is because the 7 will come before you'll get your 4 hits. Because on average, let's say the 7 comes the most between the 5th roll and the 8th roll, right? Between the 5th and the 8th roll, and you need 4 hits. So when you come out, you're not gonna, that's 1 roll. Then most likely you're not working. So that's 1 roll. So now you have 4 rolls before you're likely going to be in this very 7 happy range of rolls. So if you don't roll all box numbers in those 4 rolls and you have 1 horn number in there, now you're behind the 8 ball. Or let's say this happens. Let's say you hit your point. Let's say you roll 6, hit a 6. So now out of 2 rolls, you do have 1 win, but you're going to eat up another roll being off. And let's say that roll is an 11. So now you're 3 rolls in it. Now you roll a 10 for your point. 4 rolls. You roll the 6, make a little more money, and then 7 out. That's not an unusual run of dice, not at all. So that's what I'm saying, is that it's speed of the strategy is based on the hits. So you got to keep your hits as low as allows for the second part, the second component. And we'll get to the second component in a minute, but I just want to keep talking about the speed of your strategy, because this matters a lot. This matters a whole bunch. This is how you make strategies profitable, in my opinion, is if it's very fast. That's why strategies like one hit can't miss, they win a lot of the time, but people get tired of it. They get tired of taking it all down after one hit or whatever. But those strategies actually win a lot, But if you can just look for 2 hits and then regress to profit, that's another term I like to use, regress to your profit, to where you only have profit on the table. That way you're playing on the casino's money. You're not playing with the money you brought from home. If you can continually play on the casino's money in a session, you will win money in that session. If you're continually playing with your bankroll in that session, you will lose. And these are, this is undeniable. If you're always in your bankroll, you're going to lose. If you're on the casino all day, you're going to win. All right, let's pull it up. Let's talk about the next part. Component number 2. And this is, how does your strategy win? What does it take for your strategy to win? Does your strategy win within the first 5 rolls? If your strategy is profitable within the first 5 rolls, which is, again, ties into that 2 hits, in 5 rolls, you should be able to get 2 hits, right? That's very reasonable. In 5 rolls, you should be able to get 2 hits. If your strategy is profitable within the first 5 rolls, you're probably going to stay profitable. You're probably going to make it through the whole day, through the whole session, through the whole year profitable, because you're not giving the casino a lot of ability to beat you. So how does your strategy win? This also factors in probability advantage. All right, you got to keep probability advantage in your favor to win, right? So if you're playing, here's one of the things that people do that I don't understand. They lay the 4 and the 10 together. They lay the 4 and the 10 together. All right, so I get it. If you roll a 7, you win twice. But you've taken the advantage of the lay bet. You've taken it away, because now you're 6 rolls to 6 rolls, 6 combinations to 6 combinations. So it's just as likely that you'll lose one of the 4 and 10s before you roll the 7. It's also just as likely you may lose both of them before you roll the 7. And so you're essentially, at that point, if you play the 4 and 10 lay together, you are essentially subjecting yourself to the 5% vig as a house edge, because you're getting even probability versus 5%. So you're just giving up 5% right there. Just giving it up. Now, if you just lay one of those bets, now you're a 2-to-1 favorite. So now you actually have an advantage, especially if you're willing to pull the bet down after you win. So I don't understand why people lay them together. To me, it doesn't make any sense. You're just giving up 5%. But anyways, that's kind of off on the side there. So your strategy wins in the first 5 rolls. For your strategy to win in the first 5 rolls, you have to have the probability advantage. That's why a cross betting matters. You bet across. You bet a lot of numbers early, trying to get your 2 hits within the first 5 rolls. That way you can regress to something that's purely profit, or you can make adjustments to where you're only playing with casino money. So that ties into the speed of the strategy. So how does it win? We need a cross betting. That's how it wins. We're giving yourself 24 ways to make a winner. 24 combinations of dice. If you guys don't believe me, I'll point it out. 3, 7, 12, 17, 21, 24. 3 combinations, 4 combinations, 5, 5, 4, 3. 24 combinations of dice. So that's 66% of the combinations. 66% of the combinations, you need 2 hits. You should be able to do that. All right, does your strategy, this is also part of component 2, how does it win? Does your strategy have a long roll component and a short roll component? All right. If your strategy is only built for the short roll, where you're basically just playing a don't bet. A don't bet is only built for the short roll. You don't want to see a roll go long if you're just playing the don't. You want it to win as quickly as possible. You want a 7 as quickly as possible. Short roll potential also means if the roll only goes 4 rolls but you got your 2 hits, are you profitable? Short roll potential. Is your strategy have short potential? A strategy like the 3-point molly has no short roll potential, because when you set your point, you're putting odds behind it. So your next bet is in the come. If you don't repeat that point, you're going to enroll 7, you're going to just lose money. So in strategies like the 3-point molly, they require a long roll to be profitable. So on the flip side, does your strategy have long roll potential? And what I mean by that is, if the roll goes long, are you gonna be able to make money on it, or does your strategy have your money off the table? You don't want a strategy that takes all your money off the table. You want a strategy that has money on the table that you're playing on the casino. So that's why, like, 160 across for 2 hits, down to 64 across. Now you have long roll potential. You've made 70. Now you're at 64, so you got a $6 profit locked up no matter what happens. But you're set up for the long roll now. You're set up, if it goes 20 rolls, you have money out there covering all the numbers. So you're going to hit a bunch of numbers. So long roll potential is as important as short roll potential. The same thing goes, though. You got 160 across, you're giving yourself 24 combinations to hit. You only need 2. So if the roll only goes 4 rolls, 3 rolls, you're going to make some money probably. You may still lose, but at least you're going to have hit something. You don't want to have so many moving parts in your strategy that it takes miracle rolls for you to be profitable. So component 2, these are the 2 components of strategy building, in my opinion, that are non-negotiable. Component 1, the speed of the strategy. How fast does it win? How fast are you playing with profit? Most important thing to me. Second thing is how does it win? You know, what does it take? Is it covering the long roll? Is it covering the short roll? Are you within a 5-roll window? Are you profitable in the first 5 rolls? If you are, your strategy is probably pretty good. All right, so let's go to the tier 2 components. Tier 2 components are a little different. They're not necessary for me, but they're things that I like to have in there as well. One of the things is how much investment out of your initial bankroll per shooter. So if you're playing 110 across, or 110 inside, or 160 across, that's a heavy investment per shooter. So you got to have a pretty substantial bankroll. If you're playing 160 across, you probably need $1,600 bankroll. If you're playing 110, you probably need an $1,100 bankroll, giving yourself 10 shooters. So I don't like my initial investment to be more than 10% of my bankroll. I don't want to go any higher than that. I mean, there is instances where you might, like if you're throwing an 11 bet out there or something, or a C bet, it may be slightly more than 10%. But I don't like it to be more than 10%. If it's more than 10% of my bankroll, I need to make an adjustment. The second thing, and this is important, this is the second component of tier 2. This is good. This is an important one. Simplicity. If your strategy requires box numbers, a come bet, a field bet, hot bets, progression on the 10 and the 4, and you got all these moving parts in your strategy, and you're trying to do this live at the casino, and the dealer's trying to keep up with you, what you're doing, and it's just not going to work. you're martingale in the field, and you're hopping the 4 and the 10, and you're playing inside, but with a come bet, and like all these moving parts, it doesn't make any sense. Keep it simple. The simpler you keep it, the easier it is to understand your EV, and the easier it is to actually play it, to actually play the strategy at the casino. So simple, best. Complicated, terrible. And that's one of the things I know a lot of people like hot bets. Hot bets are fine and dandy, but adding hot bets to your strategy is adding a distraction every time a roll happens. If you have to hop every roll, you're adding a distraction every roll. Okay, let's get to the third thing that I actually care about. This is transition potential. Does your strategy have the ability to transition from light to dark, dark to light, from light to off the table, from dark to just profit? All these things matter. So there's some strategies that don't really have this potential. The 3-point Molly is a strategy that doesn't have this potential because them are contract bets. So any strategy that requires the come or the pass line doesn't really have the potential to fully transition, because those are contract bets. There's a reason the casino makes you leave that bet, because it's a bad bet. It's not a good bet. It's a terrible bet. So why do you think they let you take the don't down? Because the don't's a much better bet than the come. The don't come's better. That's why they let you take it down, because you got the advantage. The casino is going to let you lose your advantage if you'd like. But on the come, on the pass line, the casino's got the advantage. So they don't want to let you take it down. So this one is transition potential. 160 across has good transition potential. Let me explain. So you get your 2 hits. Now you've made $70. You go 64. Your next hit, you can run through the don't come. Let's say you make $15, right? You run it through the don't come. It's going to take another hit once it sets. So now you've won again. So now you could pull, you're pulling the profit off the place side, and you're adding it to the don't side. So now you've added your 7. You've traded a box number for a 7. And so these are transitions. You can also transition from dark to light. For example, you take in a don't, right? You got a don't. Bang. You get it. Let's say it lands on the 5. You have dark transitioning to light's really easy. Place some numbers. It's called hybrid play, but it's really a transition play. You got the 5 don't. You play the 6 and 8 with it with a field. Now you got all the other numbers. You transitioned from dark. You could have just left it in dark, but you made it. Now your strategy's light side with a dark side hedge or cover or whatever anyone wants to call it. Right? You're no longer playing dark side at that point. You're playing light side. So that transition happens quickly, but it's a very comfortable, protected bet. And that is, in my opinion, those things right there. I'm going to recap it all. Component 1, your speed of your strategy. If you're not going to have a strategy that wins within 2 hits and is in profit, and the casino, you're playing with just casino money within 2 hits, you're probably going to lose, guys. It's just the truth of it. Tier 1, component 2. How does your strategy win? Does your strategy, does it within the first 5 rolls, not first 5 hits, first 5 rolls, does your first 5 rolls, is your strategy profitable? Does your strategy have long roll potential? Is there going to be bets out there if the roll goes long where you can make a lot more profit? Does it have short roll potential? Is your strategy going to be safe from a 3 and a 4 roller? Not light side strategies rarely are good with PSOs, so you just eat the PSO. But a 3 or a 4 roller, are you going to be okay? All right, so that's another thing you need to be looking at: long roll and short roll potential. All right, tier 2, we have make sure your strategy doesn't cost more than 10% of your bankroll per shooter. If it costs more than 10% of your bankroll per shooter, you're probably going to lose. Simplicity. You don't want 25 bets going at once that you have to keep up with hops. You're hopping the insides, you're hopping, you're playing the field, you got the martingale, you got a come bet. You don't want all that, guys. What for? Why do you have all that? All you're doing is each time you make a hot bet, each time you make a field, you're adding a distraction in the game every time, because you're having to remember to do this. You're having to remember to do all these things. Now you're not paying as much attention to your box numbers. You're not paying as much attention maybe to your hardways, whatever the case may be. You might miss something. Simplicity is key. You want to be simple. And then transition potential. Does your strategy transition well? I don't know. It all depends. And like I said, tier 2 aren't necessary for strategies. You can win with strategies that are complicated. You can win with strategies that cost more than 10%. And you can win with strategies that don't transition at all. But I prefer to have those components in. So I got $300 here, guys. I'm going to do a rollout. I'm going to do 160. Actually, you know what? What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get $1,600, because that is what you should have, right? So there's 1,000. I got 300 here. So that's 1,500, 1,600. So we're going to drop 160 to the dealers. Dealers, set us up. They're going to set you up. Here we go. Off on the come out, because that's how people play. There's a 10, point's going to be 10. That's roll number 1. In fact, let's keep track of the rolls. Roll number 1. There's the 10 point. Okay, so this is one of those instances, right? Roll number 2. So we're going to lose a roll here. We're going to win 50 bucks, guys. I'm not caring about the VIG. Put this over here. We win 50. Puck comes off. Box numbers are off. We got a 3. That's roll number 3. Still haven't set the second point. There's a 5. That's roll number 4. Think about this, guys. We're seeing this in action. Roll number 4. We've made $50. We still have risk of 160, and we're already 4 rolls in. This is about to be the 5th roll. 9. Okay, so now we've won twice in 5 rolls. That's what our strategy needs to do. $35. Now you take it down. Oh, sorry. You take it down to 64 across, whatever it is you're doing. Just make it fit within your profit. So that's shooter number 1. Let's turn it into black chips. 200. All right, shooter number 1. Let's say you just let it roll out. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to go into the long roll, short roll potential here. I'm just showing the speed mostly. All right, so shooter number 1 was a success. Within 5 rolls, we got to profit. We would have regressed down. Got your 2 hits in. All right, point. Here we go, coming out. We got a 7 on the come out. Now this is one of the things that doesn't really matter, all right? So a come out 7 that's not in the middle of a hand doesn't really make a difference. So that's not really a roll. All right, 5, 1, 6. We're gonna drop 160. roll number 1. Here we go. 5, 4, 9. Let's roll number 2. We're going to win 35. Roll number 3 is an 11. And a 10. Okay. This is going to win 50. We got there in 4 rolls. 4 rolls in. You're going to tell the dealer, take me down to whatever you're regressing to. That's shooter number 2. Shooter number 2, success. All right. Roll satisfies, however it happens. Here we go, coming out. We got a 9. We'll drop our 160. That was roll number 1. We got an 8, 5, 3, 8. $35. This is roll number 3. 5, 4, 9, that's the point, but that's going to get us out of the hand. Another $35. We satisfied in 3 rolls that time. This is what I mean by speed of strategy, guys. You need to be able to win quickly. If it takes you 5, 6, 7, 8 rolls, you're putting yourself at risk, a way bigger risk. 100, 200. I can't remember what that ended up being. Something like that. All right. Roll satisfies however it does. Again, you guys, you could be playing 64 across, and you could be playing $30 6 and 8. Whatever you want to do afterward is fine. I'm just showing it as if you were going for 2 hits. 2 hits within 5 rolls. Got to come out 5. We're going to drop the 160. $415, that's the point. Okay, so that's 2 rolls. $35. All right, so this is roll number 3. Puck is off. Box numbers are off. You got a 6 the hard way. That's roll number 3. 6 deuce 8. So roll number 4, we made another $35. We're out of the hand. 4 rolls. 4 rolls this time. So that's 4 shooters in. And those 4 shooters, we've won every time. Whatever happens, happens. All right, next one, 160. Box numbers are off. Okay. It went up in the wood. In the wood, no good. In the wood, no good. All right, here we go. We got an 11 on the come out. 11. Let's roll 1. Followed by a 5. So 2 rolls in, we have no wins. Roll number 3 is an 8. 5, 3, 8. We're going to win 35. Roll number 4 is a 9. So we made it again. 4 rolls. Again, you'd regress down to whatever it is you wanted to play. You don't have to. You could just pull your money off, but that takes your long roll potential away. So you'd want to regress down to something, you know, one of these rolls might have went really long. I don't know. I'm not really factoring that in at this point. But 5 shooters in, we've only won. All right. Here we go. Roll number 1's a 9 point. I would really like to see it get past roll 5. Okay, roll number 2 is a 3. We don't win nothing there. 3 rolls in, we haven't won nothing. 7 out. See, 3 rolls. It can happen short. We didn't win nothing. We had 3 rolls, didn't win nothing. So that was shooter number 6. Shooter number 7. Here we go. We got a 6, 5, 1. Let's roll. 3, 1, 2, 3. No winner. Gonna be 3 rolls in, no money. You guys see what I'm saying? That matters. It matters that we didn't roll a winner right there. 12. All right, so we're gonna be 4 rolls in and have won nothing. So this matters. The 9. On our 4th roll, we won 35. This is 5 rolls. We need a winner. We got an 8. So we made it 5 rolls that time and got lucky. Anything past that, you're starting to get real danger zone. All right. So that was actually the 7th roll. The 7th shooter. So we'll move on to the 8th shooter. Again, guys, you'd want to have regressed or something, left money out there a little bit. That way you could attack. I mean, you could have played it this way too, but it takes all the long roll potential away. Here we go. We got a 9 on the come out. This is not 4, guys, it was a 9. Here we go. 3, 1, 2, 3. 10, heart 10. It's gonna win $50. $5, okay? So in 4 rolls we got home. That's another good one. $35. Took us 4 rolls. That's acceptable. I'm gonna trade this in for 2 green chips, guys. our 2 black chips. That way we can keep track of what we're doing here. Oh, come here. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're on the 8th roll because we had 1 loser. All right, I guess we're on the 9th roll, huh? This will be the 9th shooter. 9th shooter in to our 10 shooter run. Here we go, coming out. We got a 7 on the come out. Doesn't really matter because it's going to reset anything. 7 resets the, the looking for a 7. 6 deuce 8. Roll number 1. 5 3 deuce. Roll number 2. It's going to win 35. 4 1 5. Okay. So in 3 rolls we got home. All right, last shooter. I'm taking them down like this every time, guys, because it's kind of a thought process, right? I want you guys to see each time changing the play, regressing, doing whatever it is you're doing. All right, last shooter, 160. All right, here we go. Box numbers are off. We come out with an 8, 6 deuce. Oh, that was roll 1. Oh, PSO. All right, let's see. So we lost 2, won 8. 1 on 8, lost 2. That's pretty good. That's 80%. That's an acceptable percentage. Let's see if we're profitable. Remember, we started with $1,600, so let's see if we're profitable. $1,600, so we profited all this even with 2 losses. We're up $285 after 10 shooters, and that was without seeing the end of the rolls. We could have been up way more. We also, they could have went bad right after that, but overall, even if we would have had some go bad, some go good, because remember, we lost 160 twice and we're up 280. So 320, even if all of them would have ended on the next roll, we would only be down $40. And so obviously all of them would have ended on the next roll. And again, guys, this is me showing how I think you should build strategies. This was a clear depiction that we did 10 shooters, followed the rules of the strategy, ended up money. And this wasn't even like I fleshed it out or anything. This is just my knowledge of understanding how the game works, that I could repeat this process as long as I stayed within the rules of strategy building that I have developed for myself. It's profitable. Anyways, guys, thank you for your time. Hope you guys like this video. I know people have asked me for this video. I've given bits and pieces of it here and there. I hope you guys like it. This is Jacob from Wedge Me This.